Hello everyone, myself Praveen. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'll try to show you a CRUD operations like create, read, update, and delete operations by using entity framework. So in previous video I already explained how we can establish connection between your code to database by using entity framework. So if you want to watch, please refer the previous video. So I'll create a new controller for this operations. So once we create, then I'll show you all these CRUD operations one by one. So let's get started. So first, you have to create a new controller. I'll select API, API and controller add. Select API empty. So as we are doing employee, I'll give it as a employee controller. Click on add. You have to create a constructor for that. Enter. So we are using to establish to the entity framework to the database. We have created app DB context, right? We have to use that name, app DB context, DB context. Create object of this. Create assignment field. So now I'll show you the read operation. How we can able to get the data from that employee. So for that we are using HTTP get method, HTTP get method. We create one function. Get employee data. Okay, here we'll use this object dot employees, whatever the table. This is the one we are using, employees dot dot to list. We are reading, right? We use to list. Assign to one variable employee employee data. You want to display, so you have to return okay of employee data. So if you had as data, then it will return as okay. But if you want to do some validations, like if it is data only, then only you can display okay, other you can display some error. For that you can add one validations. If employee count greater than 0, or you can use employee data dot any, both are fine only. Okay, else return no, not found. Go to database. You see, this is employees as a table, right? Right now if you run and check, it has empty data. So if you run this, you can see we created a API employee, one more controller. If you go here, if you try out, click on execute. See here, I'm getting 400 bad requests because empty data, because in the database we don't have any data. So if you have a data, then it will give the result of okay. That's what the validation will write. So for that, what we'll try to do this for this operation, I'll try to add some data manually. ID, it is a GUID. Let's go here, turn on GUID generator, enter GUID generator, generate GUID. use this name Praveen, phone number on to salary 0. It is saved. Okay. Now if you run this, data is there on data. If you go back to your API, click on execute, you can see 200 response of this record. If you don't have any record, let me go to database, delete this record. Now execute this. So there is empty record, right? So if you execute again, you can see error not found. There is no record for that. Now we'll work on a create operation. So we call it as an insert. So we can use HTTP post method for that. Create one function, public action result, insert employee. Okay. In insert employee, normally what will happen when you receive, right? We will receive the data to insert, right? To get the data, normally what will happen is they will pass the data in the body. So for that, you have to create one class. That class which should hold whatever the data you receive. Okay, for that what I'll do is I'll create a one class. That class I'll call it as a employee DTO, data transfer object. We call it as a data transfer object. So what this data transfer object is, whatever the data we receive in the body of the request, that should be same as your employee, because end of the day the entities whatever you are using as employee, that data only it should insert to the database. So the structure will be same. So what we'll do is I'll copy the same field, go to DTO, then I'll keep it same. So these three field they will pass, and here phone number is optional if they can pass or they not be pass, so it's optional one. So right now I'll use this same thing in the controller. If you go here DTO and employee DTO, then I'll create where data equal to new, the entities whatever you are using employee entities only, we have to assign the data to employees. So employee data, the name we are assigning to name. Similarly we can assign to ideal take care by entity framework, phone number can assign, then salary, and use as this one. Okay, this data what we are doing is we will use db context dot the employees dot, there is option called add here, add of data. This is the data which we are trying to insert to the database. So if you write like this, then it should it should add, and it will should to do the changes that should apply back to your database, right? For that we have db data context dot just save changes, then only your data will insert to the database. successfully. Then what we'll do is I'll return a data, okay, of data. Okay. Then what we'll do is we'll just insert. Okay, let's click on run. Now it's running. Go here. You can see the one more controller action method is added as a post add employee. You can see here this is a click on try out. This is what in the request body they will pass as a name. So what I'll give is I'll give phone number, one give random. It's a phone number is option. Salary I'll give. Okay. So click on execute. You can see we get 200 response body, and this is the ID it is generated, and these are the values. And if you go to database, just run on this, you can see here Ramesh 88, the salary is added. Now if you do the get employee, we should get the two records from that. You can see two records, Ramesh and Praveen. These two records you can able to see. Now we're done with getting all the data from the database, and also we're doing insert to the database. Now suppose if you want to get the data, a single record from the data based on ID. So for that what we have to do is use same get method, http get method, and write one more function, public action get single record. So what will they will pass is they will pass ID. Based on that ID, that a record matching record should be displayed. So if they what they will pass is they will pass as ID. The parameter they will pass as an ID. That ID is a GUID you have to pass with GUID of ID. The name whatever you pass here, that should be here. Then what you will do is db context of dot employees dot find. You have to find whatever the ID you pass here, pass it here, ID, and data result. Okay, then check this data result is null. If it is null means there is no data for this, then it should write return not found. Else you should write okay of data results. Return okay of results. Suppose if you run this, okay, now you can see here another get action method is came with the ID. They are passing ID as a parameter. If you go to DB, if you pass this ID, go here, if you pass, if you execute this, Now you can see the matching record, the Praveen only it will display. Go here, if you see, if you pass this ID, the Praveen only the single record you can able to fetch based on ID. The update employee table, for that if you go here in the table, consider that for this specific ID I want to update any field of this: name, phone, salary. Similarly for this ID also if they want to. So for that you have to use http put http put method, okay, public action results put employee. So what you will do is, for that, like how we are using for insert, like how they are passing the data to insert, similarly they'll pass the data in the body along with a specific ID, because based on ID only we have to update. So for that what I'll do is I'll create one more class, and class update employee DTO class, and you keep same these data here. Use this employee details in the controller, employee DTO. So, and also along with that they will pass ID. ID they will pass as a GUID. So you have to pass GUID. So first what we will do is, where employee DB context of employees is find, you have to get the data based on ID. Okay. Once employee data is found, then what you do is to do some validation, like if this employee equal to null or is null, then you return not found. After that then you have to update your incoming data values to employees dot name equal to employee this data employee date employee DTO dot name. Similarly employee dot phone equal to employee phone, salary equal to salary. Then what you have to do is db context dot save changes you have to do, so that whatever the data you updated, that will reflect to in the database. Then you return employee. Okay, employee. Okay, let's run. So now you can see put option here, try out. So what I will do is pass this ID. From this ID I'll update to Ramesh Kumar. I will update. If you want to update all the record, that is also fine. Right now I'll update only a single name value. Okay, then if you go here, what I'm doing is, so whatever updated data you will do, that only I'm returning. So let's execute. Now you can see 200 response with updated name as Ramesh Kumar with the same details. If you go to database, if you execute this, that is also it will reflect in database in the name column. Now we left with the last operation, that is called delete. So if you go to table, suppose you have a two records. So based on specific ID, you want to delete the record. So for that, what we'll do, we'll create a new function for delete, http delete verb will use based on ID. Okay, we'll use same thing here. We'll create a new function for delete. Okay, for that we don't need this DTO because only ID is required. I'll use as delete employee. So what we'll do, based on ID, first you have to get the data based on ID from the table. Okay, employee data, if it is null then not found. Then after that what you have to do, db context dot employees dot, you can see here a remove option of employee. So whatever the record you get, that record we want to delete. Then the most important, db context dot save changes, so that it will reflect in the database. Then I'm returning okay of whatever the data you want to delete, and that record, same record only I'm showing here. So okay, that's fine. Then let's run this. We can see here delete action method. So what will you go here? Okay, take any data like this ID I want to delete. Okay, go here, paste here, then execute. Now you can see this is a record which we are deleting now. Okay, now you go to database, just execute. Now you see that Ramesh Kumar data, it is deleted from the DB. So if you go back and check the first get employee, it should display only Praveen Kumar data. So these are the CRUD operations with respect to by using entity framework. That's it for now. Thank you for watching. If you like the video, please like, share and comment and subscribe. See you soon on next video. Thank you.